What's up, everybody? My name is Galston Anthony, the best to ever do it. Today, we have somebody particularly interesting in the studio, but before I get there, let's have this conversation. A lot of the times, people in the comment section tend to be mean. Now, you could say whatever you like, and that's fine by me because I'm already sure of who I am. Good looking, smart, successful, and so much more, so insults won't really hit. The idea of this is for you to understand the stories that's been told here and walk with us so we can grow together. So rather use this wisely instead of talking so much trash, because I'm going to talk trash back. Now, let's talk about the guest that's with me today. This man is a businessman from Soweto to Durban and then turned a business into a conglomerate, fell off, and probably on his way back. This man has brought people like Snoop Dogg into the country and so many other international artists. Now, you probably guessed who this man was. A man who ran clubs all over Durban. His name is Hulu, DaGuru, Mthembu. How you doing?
I'm good. Peace be with you.
Thank you. You know, we're going to talk about a lot of sensitive
I'm scared,
things.
man. Worried now.
Yeah, you all over Twitter. You all over. Man, your life is very tumultuous. Are you ready to go through this conversation?
I think I am, but yeah, let's see. Let's hear what you got to ask. You know, I want to share my side of the story. I think people deserve to know. Pretty much for me, it's not just a story, it's about just more of a testimony, but I don't know what you got for me. You got some surprise for me. I don't know what you got.
You know, this podcast really does dig pretty deep. So I should say be prepared because they're going to be sensitive. You know, I'm going to hold you to account as best as I can.
Okay.
Because it's a love of brotherhood. You know,
Yeah.
to say that where we came from, each of us make mistakes, but we move forward.
True.
But let's start from the beginning. Young man from Soweto goes to Durban. Tell me about your life.
Yeah, so I'm a typical cliche, from the dusty streets of Soweto. Just always had a dream. But I never had everything figured out. You know, I'd be lying if I say so. I never had all figured out. I just know that I had something in me that was beyond just being a guy from Soweto, boy from Soweto, and it's going to end there. And I decided as I got older, and I was never so lucky to get like what do you call these career guidance classes like other people. But a friend of mine, just told me one day, he said, I could do well in advertising, I could do in creative, because I'm a creative person. And I said, okay, cool, let me study. Applied Vega, and I was accepted Vega School of Brand Communications. When it was time for my internship, I decided to go to Durban, and that was supposed to be just an internship.
How old are you at this time when you decided to
20.
go to Durban? 20.
Yeah, I was 20. I was gonna finish school earlier, but because I was a naughty boy, I had to I failed one grade at 2, so that's why I finished very late. But I was 20, and then I went to Durban to study, to do my internship at the TPW Handlers Curries. At the time, it was one of the world's best leading advertising agencies. It was meant to be a 2 weeks internship. Then it became 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 4 years, 10 years. I ended up being in Durban, but
Yeah.
I was in there at Handlers Curries for long. Yeah, so that's how I ended up pretty much being in Durban.
So the whole career was, you know what, I know this city now in and out. Why don't I just start anything here? Because I would have thought that you would have started in Soweto, but you went Durban. Okay. So how did you get to start out with a club? Because a club financial injection is wild. You don't get like 20, 30,000 or 50,000 and just, how did you get that financial injection?
Okay, before I studied advertising, I just used to do events. I mean, I was not even 15. I was 14 actually when I started doing my first event. I was underage. My late best friend, Itumeleng, almost said Kune.
Yeah, I heard that. You and him, 15, he's playing
Tumza
soccer.
Spio. Yes. So my friend, Damani, and we did our first 6-to-6 bash. It was a big thing at the time to do your BOB, bring your own bottle. bring your own babe,
Bring your own booze.
bring your
Yeah.
own booze, B.O.B.
Yeah.
We did our first event at 14. And then I did the hottest 16th birthday. And I think from there, that's when I started doing a lot of parties. And I did it for free. I didn't know this can be business. And then when I then move on, I just found out as I was doing events that you could be what you call a promoter. And I was getting these magazines from a friend of mine, the UK magazines. I think one of them was called God's Kitchen. There's one was called Ministry of Sounds, the magazine. So I used to learn a lot about the UK clubs, how they're doing things. And that's when I started getting more passionate about the nightclub space. And I was just a typical promoter. I didn't start my own club initially. I just became a promoter.
Okay, so
I
if
made
I
the
get it
money at the
right,
door.
from younghood, you decided, you know what, you're going to do some events, probably open grounds, bring your own booze. And then later on, you learned, hey, man, this is actually some sort of a business that I can make out of it.
Yeah.
And you went to a club and probably started promoting, hey, how was that? Like, did you bring your own artists in, or did you like book out a section and then, sell that section out? Because I want to see the business progress.
I was just brave and just went to a space and I said, I see you have a beautiful space. I want to bring people here. They'll come and spend money at the bar. I want the door. That's the deal I had. So they keep the bar, I get the door. I was making enough money at the door. I didn't even want to worry about what's happening at the bar. And I sold my tickets, I made my money.
How much money did you make, like, that first night that excited you?
I made a loss.
Okay. How much was that loss?
A lot. I know the money was there, but I know that every event I did, I had to hide myself because I was owing so many people money. It just looked busy, looks packed. But when you start doing the numbers and start doing the recons, and I realized, damn man, I owe people money, but I didn't give up. I still carried on and organized another function, hoping that was gonna bring me money to pay the previous gigs debt, which pretty much it did work out, because after I did my fourth event, I was starting slowly to do payment plans for the initial guys, and I was paying them slowly.
But then
Those are good.
explain to me, how did you owe them? Because now I understand this as a business person myself, an entrepreneur, is that you probably have to go through so many losses before you get to any sort of profit. But now the tricky thing is that people are paying to have a good time, and they're hoping to, get their money's worth. Now the question becomes, what did you owe?
Okay, so firstly, when you do an event as a promoter, you don't calculate the time that you spend just in the beginning, you taking taxis, using your airtime, petrol, whatever that you're using to just move around, right? Your operation costs, you don't think about them. You're just thinking about paying the designer, paying the printers, paying the sound guy, because most places it was just a hall. You had to then organize your own sound, your own lighting. Then you need your door lady. You need your tickets. You should print tickets then, and you need a stamp. You need and
There's a whole lot of logistics.
There's a whole lot of logistics that you don't think about.
Right, and you just wanted money at the door. You didn't really get money out of the alcohol.
You probably just think about the main DJ. That's a cool DJ that you have in the hood at the time. And a guy called DJ Mbuso, that's my favorite DJ. Actually end up starting a record label called Soul Candy Records. The same guy did my 21st birthday actually. So at the time that you starting to do these events, when you're done, everybody is like celebrating you, and then you have other people calling you say, "Yo, I still need to get paid," and then you do your count and your record, like, damn, I didn't make the money. But because the thing of being a promoter, there's pride, there's ego, there's a perception that you can't look like you had a bad event. So there's a catch-22. As an events promoter, you gotta look like you're making the money at all times, because people believe in you. But deep down inside, you're bleeding because you owe a lot of people money. Now it's even worse. Some clubs are going on this route, or where they are showcasing these bottles. Like someone orders 1 bottle of champagne and they throw 6 bottles of champagne, and it looks like, wow,
6.
And then we counting the board like, yo, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 of spades. But there's only one that was bought, but it's a whole show. And then another guy was opening a nightclub and does the same thing, and then he doesn't work out, doesn't last for that long, and he fails. And not knowing that it's all sometimes like smoke and mirrors. It's just a perception that you're creating. So it happened with me in the beginning when I still started to do my events. I wanted to look like it's happening.
Look, I understand it. And the reason why I understand it is that been in the entertainment for a long time, and it's like fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So, you got, like you did with the Ace of Spades example, is that show that you're successful, rent a car if you have to, get the baddest girls that you can. Look, but all these things, you got to take out your money. Now, at the end of the day is that you looked good, but then the bank account does not look good. But then you found a way to keep going some way, somehow to find the funds. So although people are believing in you, you are making losses.
Yeah.
Then you fast forward to a place where you end up owning a club. How did you find the funds to own the club? How much money did you make to get to that place?
So with me, I was fortunate. It was more of people who bought the clubs, who started the clubs early before me, and on their own, and they started the clubs on their own, and they tried it, and they couldn't get the market that I sort of had influence on, and they got me on board. They said, "Yo, come here, be our partner. Just use the sweat equity, do what you need to do to get the people here, get the sponsors here. We'll give you a percentage." And that's how it started. They started from 20%, 10%, then 20%, 50%, 100%, and buying them out. But the thing with me is I already did my homework in terms of when I did my first deal with the nightclub, was that they had offered me, I think, 30% shares, and I asked them, when do we get the dividends? And they told me like once a year you get dividends. I said, no way, man. I want my money fast.
Yeah.
I want money quick. Give me 10% and give me another 10% every month of the turnover so I can raise the money quicker. And they're like, okay, cool. So you only want 10% equity? I said, yes, 10% equity, but I want 10% of profit share of turnover every month. So if you make $1, I'm getting 10% of that. Without, I don't want to know what are you paying,
what was the expenses,
what are you paying the rent? No, okay. Give me that.
That was clever, because then you're making sure that your 10% is full capital, and they still have to go through the expenses on their own, and you leveraged your sweat equity that you're mentioning, because they needed you to come back here and do this every time. That was clever.
So that was, I think, what really became my breakthrough. Those negotiations helped me. I just say, no, I want 10%. Actually, most of the clubs I went to, it worked. I just went to the guys and said, no, man, don't give me shares, actually. Let me work hard. I'll get you the numbers. Give me 10% of the turnover at the end of the night. Don't worry about, I don't want to know about other things. And I'll bring the sponsors as well. So it worked. Then that's how quickly I raised my cash flow.
So the marketing background started helping you a lot, and also the fact that you burnt and all. So here you are, you're growing to be the big guy in the business now. You end up buying the clubs out and starting your own club. So you started with which club?
The first club that I officially owned was Club 47.
Club 47.
It was called Plush at the time, and when I closed, it was called Rich.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. And then where is Annie in this? Because I'm want to talk a little bit about her. Where's Annie? Because I understand that she started off as somebody who was like a secretary or like a personal assistant, and y'all guys, you started eating stock. And then she ended up being your wife. Am I accurate?
Not really. No.
Tell me the story.
Where was Annie?
At that point. So when you started owning the clubs, was she there at that point?
No. Annie was there, living her life, there, growing up somewhere, and I was doing my clubs. And I met Annie through his sister, which the sister's my friend, and it was honestly pure business, nothing more than that. And and then when
you say pure business,
it's just business.
How did y'all do business?
So what happened is she approached my company to say, she has an idea of doing this event, and also an idea, and she had this idea of providing go-go dancers in a club. She had an agency that she had, I think it was called Leopard Print, and she wanted to provide go-go dancers for us. And I was like, that's dope. I mean, like, to have someone who's going to give us professional dancers with the uniforms and the whole theatrical, and that's where it started. It's just business, business, business.
Okay. And then it was business, business, business. But then it turned into something. Please tell me that little story. At least this is the good part, the good news. I understand the sensitivity around everything, but respectfully, so I want to understand.
I think it's that's one thing I can say is that she never tricked me or trying to with me, and vice versa. It just happens that as you probably living your life and you're working hard, and certain events happen or certain situation happens that make you certain people closer, and who would never had the intention of becoming an item, and he knows that very well, and I know a lot of people won't believe it, and it's just one of those things that unfortunately the society, it's hard to believe. That's why I try not to speak more about my personal life, but there's nothing planned. We ended up having a relationship when both of us were single. We never had any we never cheated. When I started the relationship with Annie, she was single and I was single, and that is the fact of it.
Look, people will talk,
Yeah.
right? But one thing I want us to have a conversation is that let's leave people out of this. It's just brother to brother, we having a conversation, right? So you see her, and I understand that she was quite pivotal for the growth of your business.
Yeah.
Right. And she's doing things, she's thinking things, she's, applying her mind there, and you're like, wow, that woman would be perfect for me. And you guys chose each other. And here you are, and y'all building the business together.
Yeah.
Right. Moving forward, you have these clubs, you're owning clubs, things are going good, you're driving the right cars, y'all this power couple. And you are in the background. And she starts Real Housewives of Durban.
Yeah, Real Housewives of Durban, yeah.
Season 1.
Yeah.
Right. And do you think that because of how y'all guys built, that gave her an opportunity to be out there?
I'm not sure if I'm understanding the question.
So because y'all guys catapulted to wealth.
Yeah.
Right. Now, obviously, Real Housewives of Durban, or any Real Housewife of anything, it's about the glamorous life, right? So y'all built together, and there she is on TV. Y'all reckon it was because of the both of y'all's that she ended up there?
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about it, and I think at the time, it was during COVID when they approached us. I wasn't sure. I had lost self-esteem, and I just felt that, because of COVID and most of our businesses were closed, and maybe being on TV would showcase and promote our businesses, and therefore we would do better.
It made business sense for you guys to be there. It made business
sense more than us showcasing our personal life. And I never knew that was going to go so personal. I saw it as something that was going to be good for our businesses, especially after we lost so much during COVID season, and having businesses like nightclubs where they were like, the biggest risk businesses. Having a salon was also a risk. We thought it was a better platform for us at the time.
Little did you know this would have been some of your biggest mistakes to affect your relationships. This is why I want to go right back. This is why I want to go right back to the beginning of the club situations.
Okay.
So here you are, you're building the club. So you have a couple of clubs out there.
Yes.
Right? Y'all making some good money, but now y'all close down. And then you open up a bit later. But now you picked up a habit of alcohol. Right? And I believe that was even before COVID. Or was that during COVID?
during just late after, just at the end of COVID.
Just at the end of
Yeah,
COVID?
yeah.
Yes, alcohol did affect it, but was it because the losses that was in the businesses from COVID started affecting you and then you picked up the bottle?
There's so many reasons why I picked up a bottle. And it's the choices that I made, and it's me mostly being losing my faith, because when COVID happened, COVID, as much as we're all in COVID, we all went through the pandemic. It doesn't mean that we're not traumatized. It just it's just that it became very hard to say, oh, COVID affected me, and have this thing of expressing yourself, that how it affected you, because everyone's gonna say, I also got affected. We also were not allowed to go out. We
But
also
my
not
brother,
allowed.
what's happening is that you give me a philosophical answer,
Yeah.
right? I need more of a little bit of a direct answer. So I know it's a bit tough because we have alcohol on the table and I offered you. You said, no, I do not want it. So, and I had respect. I have respect for that. But now the question becomes, when you started picking up a bottle, it was described that you've drank 2 wine bottles a day. That's
Yes.
a lot. The consumption is high. Like, what kind of stress or what kind of situation made you say, you know what? I just want to drown these sorrows. Like, what were they?
I
Did
wouldn't
you
pick,
start looking
I
at your
can't
bank
pick one. I
account?
think there's a lot of things that are happening. There's a lot of challenges that I was going through, and instead as more of, you know what, having a meal and wine, it's okay. One glass, then it's 2 glasses, then it's 3 glasses, then it's a whole bottle. And then you find, and then you understand that to pick up, to adopt a habit takes about 21 days. And it's a truth. Like I picked it up as well. Like, went back and relapsed, and I didn't even realize that I'm back on it full time. Stop going to gym, stop reading a lot, and stop praying a lot. So it there's a lot of situations that made
That
me
brought
do
you
that.
there.
Yeah.
Okay. And at that point, when your wife was looking at you, how did she feel when she started seeing that the consumption started getting high?
I don't know, actually. I can't think of, I don't know. At the time, I was very selfish. I don't think I cared much about myself, and also not caring much about myself. I didn't really pay attention to her, and which was very unfair. So I don't know how she felt.
So that it wasn't like in your mind to care at that point.
It was just bad, like the way this thing happened. This thing happened because it really made me someone that I wasn't. It affected my character in a very bad way.
What were these things that you said you became a person you didn't want to be? What was it? Did you start yelling a lot? Did you start like maybe verbally mistreating her? Did you even stop taking care of yourself because you say you didn't go to gym anymore? Like, what were these things that you like? I looked in the mirror and I started being ashamed of who I was.
I think just everything of me, one, not want to get out of bed, didn't want to work. And I started thinking that, you know what, if I'm paying you money, you do the work. I don't need to do anything. I'll sit at home. I'll enjoy my alcohol. I'll enjoy just chilling, doing nothing. And those are things that where I end up lacking mindfulness, and I'd obviously you'd let's say yell out, whether it's at work or it's at home, and then I don't have time to actually reflect and think about how I hurt somebody, how I spoke to somebody, and even when you apologize, you don't mean it. It's just whatever.
It's just to get past
and
the day.
and thinking, because you are doing things for people and material things for them, and when you make a mistake of yelling at them or disrespecting them and think they'll just forgive you like that, and that is the biggest mistake that you can ever do. To think that because, yes, you've changed somebody's life, you've taken somebody who didn't have a job, and you've given a job, and more than that, you've empowered them and even given them shares, and changed their lives, and you're thinking, and I yelled at you, so whatever. You're minimizing too many things, how they feel. and it's and you don't want to take accountability. You want to be told you're wrong, and that's what happens when you derail from your purpose in life with God, and you're just now worshiping alcohol or anything else besides God, because you don't know, you've lost yourself, you don't know who you are.
And when you lose yourself, one does not know that they're losing themselves. But here's another thing, because I wanted to also tail back to the clubs and, going into debt and all. Did you feel that at that point that she, although you have the responsibility that you're speaking of to be a man and to recognize those things, do you feel like that she left you to drown when you needed her?
No way. It's too much for me to ask from someone to do that. It doesn't make sense, because she has her own demons to fight. She has her own problems, and I'm not a small boy, and I acted like a small boy, but I had to be a man, and and I don't sometimes, even if the Messiah himself come down and try to tell me the right way, and probably was not even going to listen to him, because when your mind is not ready to listen to the truth, it doesn't matter how much anyone would have tried to tell me what to do. At the time, I was lost. I was in the dark, and there was no way she could have let me drown, and there was not much she could have done, until I then decided, listen, I need to change my life. And I didn't know who I was. And the one thing I can tell you is that in life, you need to know who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, the world will tell you who you are.
You know what? And as much as I do appreciate the accountability that you're taking, I do feel like there's a very large degree of being too hard on yourself. When people are married, what happens is that they go through the struggles together, right? And even though each person has a demon to fight, people go into the individualism mode instead of actually coming together. So I appreciate that you said you needed to be a man. I appreciate that you're saying that you were stubborn. And even if Jesus came here himself, you were not going to listen to him. I appreciate that. And I think everyone else can appreciate it. But two become one. For if one falls, the other one picks him up. But that I can only speak with her from her perspective. But I want to take also a couple steps back. Now, there's a lot of people that have said, hey, that have not being paid. At some point, there was a $750,000 that just went missing. Did it really go missing?
Yeah.
How did it go missing?
You know what? I'm trying by all means not to use any platform I get to bring anyone down, because I've forgiven most people. In fact, I've forgiven everybody.
But we're only telling the story. We're not trying to make people look bad.
It just happened that, when you are in a business and it's a partnership, and there's also leadership that you put, when they stop believing in you, and because you are not focused, or maybe they believe that this man, when money comes in, he's going to take that money and use it for something that's wrong, then they will do things out of panic. I assume that is what happened, is that when guys, my partners at the time and my managers at the time, moved my company, my business speed points, and they put another speed points, they were trying to sort of, at the time, they thought they're doing the right thing by trying to save money so that they can have control of the money, so they can do the right thing. But at the time, they don't know that that was fraud. And also not knowing my bigger picture, and not being sure, not doing your research right, just doing things of panic, because obviously the partner, the leader, which is me at the time, is moving dizzy. So you're not sure if, one, yourself, you're gonna be paid, you're gonna make your money. So it was more of people doing things in panic to save themselves and to save certain people, their relationships, but not knowing that that was collapsing everything. That's collapsing everything. But I guess they were moving they were doing things in panic, but I forgave. I forgive.
And as much as you did forgive, do you think that you had a financial mismanagement problem? Because if I'm listening to the situation here, right? So alcohol tends to give a financial mismanagement. It's sometimes it's the symptom of that. Then people are starting to replace speed points and saying, we don't like how this guy's using money, and they kind of like defer money someplace else. Do you think that the problem with your business, although you knew how to make money, you did not know how to use it well?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is that I never really studied business. I come from an advertising background. I know how to do marketing, I know to create things. I'm a creative. I just hired people who were good at what they do, who were smarter than me, and through God's grace or through whatever I went through, I managed to find the best team who did the best work. But I always used to lead. I'm blessed to come up with solutions. I might not be an accountant, a lawyer, but I seem to be paying the smart people, but I also come up with solutions for them. But when it comes from them, because they're professionals, it does work. And even my accountant, they do some accounting for me. I would suggest certain things and do work. But at the time, because I was not going to work, I was burned out. I didn't feel like going to work. There was no leader. People were making decisions on their own. They didn't understand my financial pressures. I also pretended that I'm okay because now I'm on TV. I'm seen by millions of people. My wife is on TV. Now I was now not budgeting right because I need to show this side of winning, of stability. And I should have cut my losses long time ago, but I didn't. Because after COVID, I should have just closed. I didn't. Bigger businesses, big organizations closed. I didn't. Because I wanted to look good. Hoping that the mileage I'm getting on TV would somehow
catapult you back up.
Yeah, but it didn't.
It didn't.
So
yeah.
I took a big risk and it failed.
Now it does make sense, right? Because I'm trying to find the holes in the buckets, right? I mean, you brought people like Snoop Dogg to your club. That is, how much was Snoop Dogg to bring here? Can you say?
I think we paid about $5,000 for the DJ.
How much? $5,000 for the DJ.
It was in town, so what happened is that Snoop Dogg was in town for a big concert. I don't know. It was a tourism event, and I'm allowed to say this. I'm gonna say this.
Yeah,
right?
Go for it.
So I'm like, yo, man, Snoop Dogg is in town, man, and my partners and I, Chinaman and a guy called Simao, and it was owner of the club, funny enough, and we said, we need to get this guy. So we found the contact that hooked us up with the DJ's number. We called the DJ, say, yo, we got some Durban poison for you, man.
Right.
Some Durban poison for
you. Snoop Dogg is not gonna say no.
So we went to okay, so now when this happened, then the guy, had to tell us where he was. We didn't know where he was staying. And then, okay, I can say now it was at the Beverly Hills Hotel. Hey, we drive there. We speak to the guy, say, yo, we want to do an after party with Snoop Dogg. And how much do you need? And he told us, okay, and he said to us, I want the money in dollars. Now, mind you, this
in physical USD.
Like dollars, Baba. Now we can't do any transfers. Now we need to now find this cash and need to go to town and point in Durban.
Go find a couple Nigerians. Nigerians, don't be mad at me. Y'all know you, okay? Y'all know you.
Yeah, not true. So we went to get some dollars, but also we went to get some dollars the right way. And we gave the guy the dollars, and he said, no, I'll bring Snoop then. And I said, cool, so let's do a video. Because now, for you, if on the after party, there has to be some announcer, a video that the guy must do.
He's coming.
But the trick for us, we went for the DJ. Because you go for the DJ, he will convince the main guy to come. So we didn't pay a lot of money. And the show happened, and then we hijacked the show at the after party. It was so bad. It was meant to go somewhere else, but obviously because we're the DJ, we paid the DJ. And Snoop, I don't know if he announced or not, but all I know is that the security guys called me and said, "Yo, we're on the way."
Right.
We made the space for Snoop, and I could not believe it. Just seeing Snoop come inside the club.
Snoop D O
I
double
was like,
G.
yo, I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, man, it was amazing. But it was, yeah, man, it was one of those, I think, just stars aligned. It's the right time, saying the right, being at the right place at the right time.
So the stars is aligning and you're at the pinnacle here. You're the man. Like, we can't argue about you being a man. You're taking out USDs now and paying.
Sure.
But then people are trying to make sure that you go down. A lot of rumors is starting to happen. So apparently you had a wild baby shower, right? And I believe this is, I'm not sure if the baby mama was Sabate, Pisane. I'm not sure what's happening, but I know that you had a baby shower of some sort. Where was this baby shower? How does it happen?
What baby shower? It's I don't know. It's if it's me or what. Maybe it's because I come from the old school where I know where to get my information, and when information, when I used to read a lot of newspapers, I know that if I'm buying Sowetan, the Star, the Sun, I knew what to believe and what not to believe. I take things by a pinch of salt, depending on what newspaper I'm reading things from. And this whole thing of rumor saying I had a baby shower, someone has receipts on the baby shower, someone has pictures in the baby shower, it was the hottest baby shower ever. It's 3 years later now. Where is this picture? Where are these pictures? Where are the receipts? And I love babies. I never deny my babies. If I had a baby out there, hey man, I would have my babies here if I could, man. As long as we're gonna hide this alcohol. I love my babies.
Yeah.
So there's no baby.
But then
they
why
said
is Sun and Bengu? Because she's the one that put it on YouTube. Why is she after you so bad? Is it for her own clout, or does she have something against you personally?
I think it's a beef. It's a girl's beef that I just got caught in a crossfire between her and Annie. But I think if she started that rumor, it's actually not. It's something that it's very bad. It's very it can really traumatize somebody, because it creates a big doubt, because we know in our society that kids just pop up.
Especially in black families, right?
No, kids just pop up.
Turns 13 is like, I'm
know?
your daughter, I'm your son.
So Annie knew for a fact that was a rumor and that was created. That's why she was confident enough to score and say, if you say there's a baby shower, where are the pictures? Where are the receipts? But obviously when her man is also moving dizzy and not being focused, doubt comes in. And doubt, when she's in a bad space, the K, it triggers.
It triggers her.
Triggers.
So we're looking at the doubt of, could it be possible that you're cheating? Right?
Yes.
Okay, we don't see the baby, but she can't just say you're cheating for no reason. So it's in her mind. Now there's financial knocks that is happening. There's the alcohol that is happening. So this is starting to deteriorate the marriage, right? Yeah. I'm going to take that, hold on to it, and speak about it a bit later. But then around that time, actually was before, your club experienced a very big tragedy. A friend of mine, and also South Africa's very own, AKA, was unalived at your club. What happened? Tell us the story from the club owner's perspective.
Oh, if I can tell you, being a club owner, this whole lifestyle looks glamorous. Looks like it's all fun and games. But when you get to be associated with, involved, or experience such a tragedy, it messes you up. It messes you up your home. You drink more. You don't even know what to do. You feel like you're alone. You could be surrounded by all these people there on Florida Road, came to see what's going on, but you feel alone. You feel lost. It adds to your problems at home.
Right.
It adds to your problems, your normal problems, your past traumas. It just brings back a lot of problems, because I
But you carried a lot on your shoulder. But I want to know about that situation because, boom, I think you only started hearing from it. You know that AK has to perform. The next thing, you getting a call to say, hey, man, AKA has been,
Yeah, and it wasn't even mad at the club. It was strange that it happened in one of the busiest streets, most popular entertainment hub streets in Durban, and in front of everybody. It was like, the way it happened was like just unbelievable and scary for me too. But when I was just at home and I got a call to say, yo, Keenan is gone, I was about to have dinner and I stopped everything. And I remember I drove like over 120 k's an hour. I didn't care. And the way when I got there, could see a bit of his body and it was covered. I didn't even realize that there was a friend of mine there as well, Tibbs. And that thing, man, was like, and like just became a shock. Like, I was like, unbelievable. I was like, I was, oh, bro.
it was shocking. But I want to understand something. So you got there because I believe Tibbs were only left a lot later. Did you find Tibbs partially alive or was he gone by the time you got there as well?
No, it was gone. It was gone.
It was gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
And then here you are knowing that you brought these people to Durban, technically speaking, and then, they're there lying on the floor. You see the blood, I can imagine the trauma is going into your head and, your heart is stopping. How are you feeling? Like, what's running into your head? Do you think the whole world's going to blame it on you? Because we do know the stories that is out there, and I do not want to touch onto those stories because they become very sensitive, especially in a town like Durban. But did you feel like, wow, what is happening? My friend, the world's going to think I'm involved. Where were you at before the trauma kicked in?
At the time, I was going through a lot already, and I couldn't believe this is also happening. Yes, Keenan was booked by my manager, was booked by my business partner, and everything was coordinated by my office, but it was still my club, and I was very scared. I won't lie, just to even go through that scene, and until I asked someone to please escort me, and then where to go use back entrance because I had to go see Keenan's management and the photographer and the police and everybody, and I don't know where I got the strength from when I was there, because when I got there I saw how the guys were shaking and how scared they were, and I think I just came there as a big brother because they were like my young boys, and one of the bodyguards was there as well, and I just had to play strong, but I wasn't. And I think also one thing that about me that sort of brought me to depression is that I'm always trying to act strong. I'm always trying to act like I can deliver. COVID, I was taking out my last money to support people's families, but when I didn't have, because I wanted to act strong, and that also added to a lot of my depression and my traumas.
Because I can imagine you sleep and you have these flashbacks of live. We see it on video, good and well, we're crying, but you actually seeing the person bleed, right? I'm actually picturing it through your eyes. You own this thing and then the world has fallen apart. Your marriage has taken a big knock. You were, at that time, I believe that you started the alcoholic, thing. And there's just Twitter going on and on and on and on. And then, Durban and its gangsterism that you cannot mess with. You gotta tiptoe around certain situation. And you even described yourself as a broken man. But people didn't care. They still came for you. They still came for you. They still came for you. Now here you are. There's a complete collapse of your businesses. You owe a lot of people. What next? Did you get to a place where you like, I don't think it's worth living? Or did you say, I'm going to keep going as broken as I am?
I gave up, man. I gave up on myself. I didn't really know who I was. I didn't know what day it was most of the time. I didn't check the time. I didn't care. I just, part of me was like drinking made me feel like it's immune to all these problems. It just kept on coming and kept on coming, and I think somehow, maybe because of my drunkenness, I was losing my phones, and I'd lose logins to my social media, that I was safe from seeing all the bad things that people are saying about me. I think if I had seen that, I wouldn't be here today. Because now I'm strong enough to go back and Google myself, and I'm seeing all the horrible things people are saying, people that I've done nothing to, and people who did not understand what I was going through, and the silence from my friends who could have protected me broke me, broke me. But I'm in a healing journey now. I don't think I've healed. I still get triggers. I still cry a lot. But I laugh a lot. I laugh more.
I think you're at a stage where you're looking at the mirror, because I could see the pain through your eyes. I can hear the pain through your voice. I mean, there's even parts that I'm not talking about where you allegedly got arrested and sold your club and all. And these are all allegeds, right? You have to deal with these rumors and rumors and rumors. Look, what I do understand, this is why I opened up the video by saying, be kind. It was not necessarily because of you, because people just don't care. They're heartless. They just tend to want to destroy and not understand that, as human beings, we go through consequences. But then what is hitting you the most is that I can see that it was the husband that is taking more the knock than the businessman. The business, we do know we go up and down and up and down. And so much so that your wife, I do not know if he's still married, which you will explain to me. Your wife decided not to go to the Real Housewives of Durban season 4 because she says she wanted to heal, or not only wanted to heal, she's going through a lot of pain and she didn't want to take, all this pain publicly. As a man, as a husband, in a controlled environment between you and I that the world is going to watch, what is it you wish you would have done? Or rather, let me ask it like this. What is it that you want to say to us, to your wife?
Oh, I didn't prepare anything, but I've never really thought about that. I didn't see it coming, by the way. It's true. We need to be more kind to each other. We don't know what people are going through. And also we must stop at the same time playing this petty party all the time, and want people to only worry about us, and you worry and you angry at people that never called you when you're down, and angry when people never said anything when they should have said something. It hurts you, it broke you, but you gotta stop being angry, and if I were to say anything to Annie, I'll say, not here, I'd say it. I wouldn't say it in this public space. I would tell her. So I wouldn't say much. The message wouldn't be for Annie, but it would be for any broken man there, any broken person, anyone who is going through pains and stuff. We must also remember that certain traumas, certain situations that we end up being, is that we make those decisions, especially when we're not forced to stay in that relationship. Take accountability. If no one forced you to stay in that job, take accountability. But if you're forced by gunpoint, say you are not going in this relationship, then you know what? It's not your fault. But if you chose to stay, take accountability. You will heal faster.
So if I'm hearing right, is that in as much as you taking your fair share of accountability, now obviously digging too deep into a marriage that is not mine would be a little fragrant to do so. So I will just try to, tiptoe around the situation. It's to say, you say to her, it's like, there's a lot of betrayals that's out there. I've been betrayed. You've been betrayed as my wife, right? People were talking in our ears. And not only that, the whole world was just going against us. How about we sit and talk, you and I? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that with Annie. If there's, if I knew that there was going to be so much Annie, I would have just said, why did I bring Annie with? You should have told me
I'd
that.
love
Why
to
never
have
told me? I should have just texted.
I was having
Where you up to now? Come through.
I was
Maybe
doing
she's
a
in the
man to
car
man
right now.
conversation. Yeah.
Maybe she's in the car right now. I might still have the car, but the car is repossessed. She's not here. No, man. I don't think.
Let me ask this.
I think.
Let me ask
think,
this.
Yeah. I think.
Where are you guys now? Are you guys divorced? Are you guys together?
No,
you guys...
we're good. We're good. We're good. We're humans. We cooperate. We're co-parenting. We separated. But that's the only. It's not. It's pretty much obvious. But I want to say more because I decided, you know what, I want to keep my life very private, especially personal things, to protect my sanity, my peace, her peace, her sanity, my kids, my families. But whether we divorce or together, watch the space. I don't know.
Okay.
Don't watch too much social media.
Yeah.
But I think to be honest, I think that's the biggest mistake we did. Honestly, real talk now. The biggest mistake I think reality TV shows do is that we give people a platform to kind of like have a say in our relationships and make assumptions and judges but it's our fault because they never said go and sign a contract with Showmax. It's their TV, Baba. So when they decide to tune in and you are there and you're showcasing your life and they decide to talk about your life, you know what?
That's your own fault.
It's our problem.
Right.
So unfortunately, that's why it is. Like now this platform, I think for me is I don't want to give people that power ever again to say what's going on or too much. But I think it's also good that next time that if you want to talk about Annie and I, then I'll bring Annie here.
You bring her in.
I'll bring Annie for you.
I'll tell you this much. This is my opinion. I think that reality TV is the devil's work because reality TV is so pernicious because they actually thrive on, messing up. The producers will tell you, hey, we need to have a little bit of this. Now, what happens is that the audience, which majority of them, and I say this with authority, are very stupid. And then what they do is that they take this and they try and ravel up situations. And then when you go home, you had a functioning relationship. And guess what? That relationship falls. And guess what they will do? Point at how stupid you were at their entertainment.
It's showbiz, right?
It's showbiz. I get it's showbiz. But at the end of the day, people like us or you or even, other people, their relationships fall.
Yeah.
And who wins at the end of the day? The producers. The audience are not learning anything. The people on the screen, they're falling apart. So that's why I believe it's the devil's work. But that's my take. Y'all don't have to believe what I have to say, but that is my take, and I'm sticking to that. Now, as for you, my brother.
Yes.
We've reached rock bottom already. Now we're on our way up. What are we doing?
There's a lot. I think just going through a rock bottom, you become very close to God and find my purpose. I'm very clear where I need to be in life with God, my relationship with Him. But I'm also fortunate that God has blessed me again to rebuild myself in the industry. I'm not sure why. Again, I'm back to this platform, this same industry, but everything is coming back together. Rich is coming back. Luma is already open. Hugo is coming back. Views is still there. It's a story for another day. I still own Views.
No DJ with the name doesn't own anything.
No, not to say that. I think the deal is not finalized. It's not finalized, but I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy. I just want DJ Bongs to give me a call, call me back.
DJ Bongs, give him a call.
Call me back. Call me back. I still own the Views, the brand. Views with the S. I don't own the Views with the Z. That's not my brand. But I own Views with the S. And I love DJ Bongs. I love the brand that I built. I built the brand with my, my everything, my all. And I'm gonna bring it back. And I can see it's coming back. So soon, by Durban, July, I'll be hosting most of the people in the country, and I want to give them the best that I can. I want to do like it's for the last time.
While you're doing it for the last time,
I want to do like,
I think you need to invite me. I need a personal invite. Please come to Durban, July. You have
must
a
bring Annie too, because I think you've been asking.
You know what?
Annie.
You know what? Let's bring Annie. As a matter of fact, because you still live in Durban, I'll do the podcast there.
Oh, you better.
How about we do that?
Yeah.
Deal?
For what? For Annie?
For Annie.
No, I thought you just want to have Annie around. Okay.
July. No. The thing is,
I'm not doing the podcast again.
No, I want to talk to her. Can I do that?
You can speak to her.
Okay. No, thank you so much, my brother. I'll tell you this. The 14-year-old in you that started the business is still alive. Once an entrepreneur, always an entrepreneur. Taking the beating like a man. Now, I understand that you're at the beginning phase of your healing. It's a very, very tough journey. It's something that I individually can relate with. It's not an easy one. People will judge you when you get triggered. People will throw stones at you. People will be so unforgiving unnecessarily. Just continue to keep going. Life is always worth it. Bring those businesses back. Entertain people. Do what you must. Keep praying like you say you are doing. Those scars that you have in your mind and heart, they will eventually heal. You will climb to the top, and we will know you to be the guru we all know you to be. So keep going, my brother. Don't you dare ever give up, and don't listen to Twitter. Don't you listen to Twitter. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, man. It's been a great interview. You caught me a lot off guard there, but anyway, it's good. It's good.
This is what I do. It's the G to G podcast.
G to G.
From one G to the other.
No, respect, eh?
Yeah. Thank you. So you guys understand. It's a tough one. People go through ups and downs. Businesses are not easy. Running a podcast is also not easy. Judgment is something you guys always throw. Now, as a Black community that is not just in South Africa, as well as the other rest of the countries, make sure that you help the other people build. Starting from here, starting from your neighbor, and so much more, instead of destroying. I talk like this because I've been 21 years in this industry, and I understand it left, right, up, down, and I'm not immune to the punches, but I understand when one is about to swing a punch. Let's build, not destroy. So, like, comment, subscribe, to be kind on the, not on the subscription, on the comment section, and let's build together. So until next time, it's peace out.